Black shirts or that'd be Sylvester. Pass that. Yeah, good.
You know you can make bread, well, in our age until you got to college and then, oh, damn, I'm all-American. Okay, now I can see that. When did you know, like, oh, because you were talking about getting shoes and all that stuff, but where you're a kid, but you could set your uncles and aunts and mom and dad, you could set people up. When did you know you was a meal ticket?
A meal ticket or the meal ticket? The meal ticket? I was already a millionaire when I had that mind frame. I already got the money. But a meal ticket, I would say sometime in junior high school, we was dealing with Nike. I was traveling all around all the AAU teams. We had Rockaway sending us clothes, academics, and Nietzsche. There was just so much stuff coming at one time. I began to drive. I learned how to drive at 12 years old. A lot of shit like that, where I was getting, I got my older brother, Dan, let him rest in peace. I got on one of his first cars.
Dang.
When I'm in like 6th, 7th grade. Shout out to Nike. So it was at that point where I was like, all right. And then I'm handing my mother money every month, myself, like the money's being handed to me that I'm handing to my mother. And our upbringing was kind of rough. So just seeing the transition from shit being rough to we got cable and a bunch of other shit, you know what I'm saying? We always had a bunch of love and a bunch of, my mother kept it good for us. But, you know what I'm saying? Where I come from is like, shit could get tough at times.
How hard is it to go from having nothing, becoming someone that could provide, and now being back in those same sort of living conditions and projects?
Just thinking about it is hard, but I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I was able to go back to Brooklyn, go back to Coney Island, where I put a lot of love, back into my community. I was received with a lot of love, so that, shows how I dealt with people. I don't know, I feel up and down about it at times, but if I had to be somewhere in New York, I would definitely prefer to be in Coney Island.
How much is too much for a young person? They were both drafted. He was a top 10 pick. He was picked in the 3rd round. I was an undrafted guy. So there wasn't a ton of pressure on me to make it, to take care of everybody. Really, people in my family and people in my circle, once, I got to the league, were saying, save your money. Don't worry about us. You're undrafted, those things. You don't get that when you're on the cover of magazines. They expect, they're gonna look at you and say, at some point, he's gonna have $100 million contract. At some point, he's gonna be this, he's gonna be that. How much pressure is too much pressure, even on somebody as talented as you were?
I don't know what too much pressure look like for a kid, because I feel like if the kid is talented and he's bringing in people that's willing to pay, take care of the family, et cetera, I don't think that affects him as much as it will affect the people around him.
Explain that.
Because you 12 years old, like, you don't have the same mind frame as someone 21, definitely not 30 or 40 or 50. Because, you know, at a certain age, the most important thing is what's going on is them bills. You know what I'm saying? At a certain age, what we all got in common is bills. So at a 12-year-old, you're just having fun. You just, want a nice leather jacket and some sneakers. You're not really thinking about, like, security, financial security. So you get people around you, they're like, okay, this is my financial security, which is you. So it will affect them more than it's going to affect the kid. I think a kid, young prodigy, superstar, you can give him $1 million in the 8th grade. I don't think it will affect him the way it will affect people around him.
Yeah, because you don't know any better. And adults are there because most times the odds would say they would take advantage of that child. Most times. But looking back, though, I want to ask you, the adults that were in your life or the people that were in your life, what did they get right versus, what did they get wrong?
It was new to all of us.
Right.
A lot of people was sensitive. There was a couple of people hating. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't understand as a kid, like, people envy you no matter who they are. You know what I'm saying? Especially that type of success. It's like the real success. It ain't like the half of success. It's like, you want a Benz, swipe type of success. You know what I'm saying? Let me hold $100,000 type of success. You know what I'm saying? So, people get to hating on you also. But my family got it right by protecting me in a way where they was like, man, we gonna make sure you okay at the end of the day. And right now, I'm okay. I'm alive and well. I'm healthy. You know what I'm saying? I still got a lot of more life to do. So they was more worried about the world swallowing me up and really swallowing me up, and I'm not having me. But as far as the business part of it, we struggled a little bit as a unit. We didn't give ourselves time to grow. We was like, I got drafted, we got the Adidas contract, like, especially me. Because my ego, I wanted it to be like overnight, where it's like, all right, what do it look like when you got some money and, you know what I'm saying, you successful? What do it look like? So your mother got a house, everybody got cars, you look a certain way, et cetera, et cetera. I wanted that overnight, and my family did also. And you got to understand that that's a process. No matter if you have $1 billion, it's still a process to find a house, furnish a house, find a car you like, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Get a wardrobe, just kind of find out what business you want to invest in, et cetera, et cetera. It takes time, and we was in a rush just being unexperienced.
Everybody always says, people ran through it. They call me the pocket watcher on the show. I know you've seen at least 20. I don't know the big picture, really what you've seen, but you've seen 20 grown men. Like, don't just say bad investments. Like, how did you run through 20? I never saw 20. And just thinking about it, like, my thing when I see dudes and I'm talking to them, I'm like, bro, if you got 10, then you got 8, then you got 6, then you got 4, then you got 800,000. Like, you can see that money leaving. Like, at one point, then you try to adjust. Like, something is going wrong with this financial plan.
That's a good question. And no excuse. No excuse. So I played 10 years. You said I made 20. We all know about Uncle Sam, right? So what's that, 10?
10.
Right? So that's about $1 million a year.
Yeah.
That ain't no money. That's the real truth. The real truth is I ain't really make no money. I really ain't make no money. So people like, oh, I understand how you didn't go crazy from, I'm like, I ain't make Floyd Mayweather and no money. I didn't make the type of money where it's like, I'm gonna go crazy because I don't have it today. That's the real truth. If you do the math, that's $1 million a year. It's even hard. That's you got to be a real strategic dude making $1 million